bad.
Oh, hello, everybody. It's Bonsai Movie Crew, and this is Matt.
Joseph,
yeah.
Karen.
How's everybody doing? We're doing, this is a special podcast.
Yes.
Today we're doing ours 5 favorite horror/thriller films.
Yep. For the month of Halloween, it's a bonus episode.
Ooh.
Matt's hosting today. I'm
Yeah.
kind of excited
He's
for
doing
that.
a great
He's doing
job.
a good job already.
Trying my hosting chops.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to start with? We're just gonna go right into it then.
Well, let's give him we can give him a rundown on what we're
Okay,
gonna do
well, everybody's we're going through our 5 favorite horror/thriller flicks because everybody thinks it's a spooky month.
here. It is a spooky month. It's October.
It's October.
They literally call it
Halloween.
Spooktober.
But yeah, so everybody's just gonna die. We're gonna tell our favorite movies and
Maybe a little
rundown
rundown
of
of them.
Are they really our favorites? I mean, I like to think they're, but it's so hard to pick.
Well, I think for people like us, it's more like a fluid thing. Like, this is what it is now, but perhaps
It could change later.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, see,
I might feel differently about this movie in a year.
yeah, and perhaps maybe it's your top 5 for like a reason, but maybe it's not like, I don't know. I guess like for a reason, but maybe not because it's a great movie.
Well,
True.
like mine aren't my favorite. They're just movies that I can sit down and watch
Sure.
over and over and over again.
Yeah,
because
same
Yeah.
here.
it's always
Yeah.
it seems like sometimes you just catch stuff that you didn't catch before, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
so
mean,
stuff like that.
some things that are on my list are on there just not because it's a great movie, but because I have a personal reason for it to be there.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we all have things that we
Yeah,
love
like-
about these certain
Like
or
my number
specific
one,
movies.
I have no idea why it's my number one. It just is.
sure,
I'll give you several reasons why my number one is.
I can give you
number
several
one.
reasons why mine
Like-
is number 1 as well.
And I think Karen's gonna be mad at my top 5 because I'll tell you right now, it doesn't have any Nightmare on Elm Street on it.
And that's fine.
Yeah, because
Why would I be
I
mad
thought
about
about it
that?
because Nightmare Dream Warriors was I almost did it
Dream Warriors was a good one.
because it's like the best.
I can
it's
tell
my
you that
favorite.
Dream Warriors is not on my list.
It's not on your list.
It
It's
is
number
not
1.
on my list. No.
I don't
New
got
Nightmare.
Why are you asking?
I don't
me?
know, dude. Like just it's
Let's get.
It's
I
New
mean,
Nightmare though, guys.
Like we need
I bet
to
it's New
get
Nightmare.
into it. We need to get into.
She's like, shut the
list.
fuck up, Joseph.
You're a fucking asshole.
No, you know what? She's,
Whoa.
you know what
Not
she's
the guest, Mike.
No. She don't want to tell you because she's got number 2 on there.
Yeah, I've got no
Number
2.
two?
Number 2 is my number 1. You figured it out.
You know why it's
man.
number 2? Because it takes a number 2.
Yeah.
It's a number 2.
Number 2 is my number 1.
Number 2 is a number 2.
Yeah. No shit. Giant turd.
Giant
I don't got
turd.
any Nightmare on Elm Street on mine. I don't even got. Well, I only got one franchise movie really.
Nightmare on Elm Street is like my favorite franchise. So
I got a pink book today. I think
you
this is,
switched it up.
well, I just had to make this list. I didn't have to make a bunch of notes. I'm like, I just need a small book. I don't need that.
I use
just
the
use the
same notebook
tablet.
for all of it.
I just used a piece of.
I even bought another notebook for when this one gets filled up.
I'm thinking about
Quit
buying
peeking.
a fancy. I'm thinking about. Well, I was just looking at your book.
Don't
Calm down, dude.
Don't peek.
I wasn't looking at her book, guys. I
Weirdo.
promise.
Joseph's over here copying answers.
Copying answers.
God, the teacher's gonna get mad at both of us.
Matt's gonna suspend you.
Yeah.
And my suspending is totally different.
Oh my.
Whoa.
I'm gonna hang you from hooks.
Whoa. Got real kinky.
Not really kinky.
God,
I like
Hellraiser
it.
is shit up in here.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about the piercing suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
suspension,
that's
yeah.
why I said I got Hellraiser is shit up in
No, I
here.
did that.
I know you did.
Yeah,
you showed
I
me
know.
the video.
Did I show you the video?
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun. I, bet it hurt like
I
a
barely
motherfucker.
remember it, but it was very painful.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
imagine
better
it
hurt.
was.
Better hurt like a
That's-
motherfucker.
That's brutal. You got more balls than me.
If you got
I mean,
really,
quite obviously.
they said
but-
if you got more, there was a guy who did it was his first time, and he said he had perfect skin for it because his skin was stretchy. Like he had the skin.
I would imagine that would be worse because, like, wouldn't it?
no,
wouldn't that just make?
I
you,
don't
like,
think
I
so.
know.
I think that the tighter your skin,
Sky.
yeah, that could be a skyness. I don't know what the fuck. Anyway, I would think that the tighter your skein is, it would probably hurt more because it's not giving you as much. You know what I mean? Like,
No, dude, because you
I was
have to swing.
that's what I'm saying. Like if it was stretchier, it wouldn't hurt as much because I don't know. I could see how that would be.
But if it's stretchier, like, wouldn't it yank? You know what I mean?
I don't know even know what to say to that.
I
If it's
know.
stretchier, wouldn't it yank?
Wouldn't it?
I don't know. She said yank though.
The only reason I did it is because I found a place that could do it.
Like, you know.
And I only did it because
Yeah,
I wanted
You
to.
know what I'm talking about?
get
Like,
it.
And the funny thing is, I did it, and I could have totally gone without doing it because it wasn't like everybody's like, oh, it's a spiritual. It really wasn't spiritual for me. Like it was just me.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
Just
spiritual
swinging.
for me either. I'd be like,
Fucking hurts.
Well, also, I think
Now I know what every fish that has ever been caught feels.
let me down.
I think the biggest thing was because I think what happened is I hyped myself up so much for it that I
Like,
took
you
it.
thought it was going to be
Yeah.
spiritual. And...
Yeah,
But really, it
Because
was
I
just
always told
fucking painful.
It was painful, but it was an experience. I'll say I'm not.
Would you do it again?
Yes,
No, oh, there
I
you go.
would.
It's kind of like a movie review. Would
Yeah,
you watch
would you
again?
watch-
Which is weird.
Yes,
And
I would.
Recommend to others.
Yeah, would you recommend to others?
The first time I did it, the first time I was
Oh, no.
also
On a scale of 1 to 5, what would you rate it at?
Oh, 5 for suspension. We go to 10 for movies.
Oh yeah, sorry. 10. 1 out of 10.
but I think like
No, don't
'cause
change the subject. 1
1
out of 10.
out of
we're
10.
talking about it.
1 to 10.
It's is 1 being the worst?
Yeah.
3.
That's how you feel, but you would do it again?
Well, yeah. The pain.
Oh,
is
okay.
what's bad.
All right, I got
Oh.
you.
But no, the reason I would do it again is because maybe it would be a different experience this time.
You know what? I kind of get what he's saying because it's like childbirth, right?
Yeah.
It sucks
But
so
you-
much.
but they do it over and over
then,
again.
Like a few years later, everyone's like, "Let's have another baby.
Let's have another baby. Don't
I mean,
you remember the
not
pain you
me.
went through?
Not me, but other women.
Well, because I'm also thinking because the first time I did it, I was also scared and stuff, and this time I would be going into it knowing what to expect.
Right, I got
Sure.
And-
Yeah.
Also, the one thing I was surprised is the woman who does the shows because she like swings and all kinds of stuff. She says the first time that she got up, that she was suspended, I spent longer time than she did. And I think what happened was like
Do you get to pick like how long you stay up there?
you can stay. There was the one guy with the stretchy skin wanted to stay on there for like an hour. I came down after like 7 or 8 seconds. Yeah, you don't hold. They said you don't hold on as long as you because it's your first time.
Well, no, I wouldn't have lasted 5. Like
You wouldn't have even got them needles near my ass.
like,
Like, what are those? Those are the hooks that go in your back. Fuck you, I'm out.
No, they would have got the thing like on me, and I would have been like, ah! Like you're not even off the ground yet. Oh.
They'd have been putting the fucking alcohol on to clean my skin, and I'm like, what's that? It hurts. Stop.
The hook is funny because it looks like a shark hook for like
Yeah.
There is no reason that hook after because they don't even pierce your back with that hook. That hook that is in your back that has the point is just for looks. They don't need to be pointed.
Is it just to scare you?
No, what I'm saying is they don't need to be pointed. It could be because what they did is they put 4 hooks at everybody's back. The girl who was doing the shows where she swings and stuff, she had like a rigging in her back.
Oh.
Yeah, that had a.
So her back was just pierced?
Yeah, her back was pierced and had a rigging in it.
That is so fucking... Could you imagine, like...
She was actually
So, like, being on a
Wait.
first date with somebody, so there's something I need to tell you. Like, you're a man, aren't you? No, worse, though. Like, I have giant rings in my back.
I got one.
No. She pierced her back before every show.
What? Why?
Why
Why
wouldn't
wouldn't you
you
just
just
leave
leave
them
it
in and let it heal?
No, because if she takes a long time off, you have to. When they were taking the hooks out of people's back, she had to push the air bubbles out of everybody's skin. Because it pulls your skin.
Yeah, no.
So she
Done with this
done it
conversation.
to where the air bubbles come out of your back.
No,
She would
I'm
be-
done with this conversation.
Yeah,
You're talking about air bubbles under the skin and shit?
But going back to like the whole when we thought that she had them in permanently, I was thinking about like what if she's walking around the house, and you know how like you get your
Your shirt caught on, or your like belt loop caught on something.
Like a drawer or
She
whatever.
gets that hook caught on something.
You know, you're having a bad day and you get something caught. Mother.
You think her husband walks her?
Her husband was the tattooer.
Like puts a leash on her, like, come on, bitch. We're going for a walk.
They're located in Iowa.
I think if
actually.
somebody that can like suspend themselves for that long and take the pain, ain't nobody walking her.
No, I don't think so. I think she's walking somebody else.
Yeah, she's walking somebody
You're my
else.
bitch.
That's
Also,
right.
She did shows where she would swing and stuff, like real hot and stuff. She did from her back, from her butt, and then she was telling us she used to do it from her arms, but she stopped when she was doing a rigging that went through her arm and it ripped the skin. It ripped the skin and she flew into a wall.
Oh.
So she said she even showed me the scar. She don't do her arm skin.
Maybe she
anymore.
shouldn't do it at all. That's what I'm thinking.
I just feel like yikes.
It was an Indian tradition. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do it too. Is because it was an Indian.
So Indians thought it was fun to just put hooks in them and swing?
No.
That's what they make swing sets for,
they,
man.
They put the hooks through their chest, and then they just kind of hung back. They didn't like hang from a. It was oh gosh, I forget what it was called. It was something for a sun, the sun of something. It was I think it's called sun dance, and it was a thing that the Native Americans would do to
I'm not down.
the Plains tribes. I think.
All right.
Wow.
All righty. Matt, carry us in, man.
Oh, so we're gonna go with me first.
I mean, no, we
Or
don't have to.
you can pick who
You can
has to
pick.
go
Yeah,
first.
you can pick.
Okay,
man.
you know what?
You're the
Let's
host, dude. You tell us.
Go with I'll go first. So we're just going through all five.
Well, we're gonna do 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4.
Okay. Well, my five is 1408. It's the movie with John Cusack.
Yeah.
It's,
I like that movie.
That's a Stephen King.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Book,
Well,
isn't
I
it?
know his.
Yeah.
He goes to hotels that are claimed to be haunted.
Yeah,
and
it's
tries
got
to
Sam
debunk
Jackson
them and
in it.
stuff.
Yeah.
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 And he gets a room that's supposed to be haunted, and it turns out to be pretty haunted. And
I think I remember. I don't remember if I ever watched that one.
It's very good. It's very well done.
It's one that every time I've watched, it's given me goosebumps.
I think it was one of
even
John
knowing
Cusack's last good movies, like because he hasn't really done a lot in recently. I know the
When
last
did he do Identity? Because that one was really good.
that was after Identity.
Yeah, okay.
Identity was good though.
Yeah, his daughter died, and he split up from his wife, and he just goes around to hotels trying to debunk them, and he
Finds one that can't
gets
be debunked.
one that the Samuel L. Jackson's like, no, I will not give you, and he makes sure he gets the room, and it's pretty psychological.
It's very close to the book.
Yeah, is it?
It's
I've never read the book.
it's very well done. He did a great job. It's good.
I like a
good.
lot of the Stephen King's. I'm not a big reader of Stephen King, but I like a lot of his movie reiterations.
You
and
might
stuff.
like that one because it's actually kind of a short story.
Oh yeah.
It's in one of his anthology books. I think you'd get into his anthology books. If I remember, I'll bring one.
Sometimes anthologies are better to just read anyway because it's easier to get into a
you
short
can't-
story, read it, and then if you can't get back to it right away, you can always
Yeah, and if
know.
you can't get into long stories because
Yeah.
they don't hold your attention, anthology books, like, you know, they don't. You don't have to.
Well, like
you know.
right now, I'm only reading 2 books. Well, I guess it's one because I'm reading the Bible, and I'm reading the graphic Bible, which has the pictures and stuff.
Is it the Action Bible?
No, it's a totally different.
See, I saw that one at Walmart.
It's called the Kingstone.
Does that have like pop up? Because
It's like a comic book.
oh,
essentially.
It's called the Kingstone Bible, and it's got 3 volumes. It's got the first two volumes are the Old Testament, and the third volume is the New Testament. And I paid like $50, $60 for it. And they're all real nice books, and the art's awesome. And sometimes you can see where the art changes, like if there's a different artist. But yeah, it's basically it kind of because of the way my brain works. The kind of seeing pictures helps me keep it, and
Sure.
I'm also reading it 2 times, so.
Gotcha.
helps to stick.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
And so yeah, and I only do that because the reason I have trouble reading 2 books at one time. I'll get lost in one, so that's why I do that. But I've been looking for other books to read, so I might have to try that. But yeah, but 1408, I liked it. I got a whole thing of Stephen King movies, and I didn't even think about putting it on this list. But I also really like Pet Sematary, and it's because when I was a kid, that movie creeped me the heck out.
Was it Zelda?
Yeah.
It was is that the guy who scratches his face?
No.
When in the movie in Pet Sematary, there's a guy who scratches his face, and he's a dead guy, and he comes back. He's the one of the sons, and he scratches his face.
One of the sons. I think you're thinking of Pet Cemetery 2.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking of 2 with
With Robert.
The first one I'm talking about, because it's the guy's telling a story about a guy who buried his kid at the pet cemetery, and he came back to life. And they show him. And
you're right. You're right. You're
Wait,
right.
you're talking about the dude that they see in the doctor's office and shit.
No,
too,
no, he's talking about when Jed's telling the story to.
Oh yeah, they do the flashback thing.
Yeah,
I
the
think, or
flashback
something
is
like
the
that.
very.
God, I ain't seen that movie in forever.
It's when
man.
they're talking about the guy buried his dog, and then they got the idea to bury his kid or whatever, and the kid comes back.
That movie's so fucking good. The new one sucked dick compared to
watched,
that old one, dude.
But the ending.
To the new one?
Fucked.
The new one?
Yeah.
I know. Well, the ending to the old one was fucked.
Yeah, but oh my god, that was almost worse.
Yeah, it was worse in a cringier way, though, I think. It wasn't like worse in a good way.
But look, can I just say this about the new one?
I watched
for what's his name? The guy that played Jed in the new one. John Lithgow.
John Lithgow, yeah.
Okay, that guy is a theater-led actor.
Yeah.
Amazing actor, right? I've seen him play all kinds of roles.
He was in Dexter.
I've
he
seen
was a
it,
Trinity Killer.
That's what I'm saying. I've seen him play some in-depth. I mean, the man has got fucking
Third Rock from the Sun,
chops,
baby.
Right? Oh, the man's got fucking chops.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
No, me and Cody watched
but
that.
wait, time out. Listen, Pet Cemetery, he couldn't do the fucking accent. Herman Munster could,
Yeah.
The Southern
but John
accent?
Lithgow can't.
The Southern accent?
The Maine accent.
Oh, the Maine
Don't
accent.
go on the road.
Oh, yeah. I guess you're right, yeah.
What I thought was
That
I guess you're
annoyed
right.
the shit out of me.
Honestly, I think that was a...
Hi, I'm from Maine. I've been here my whole life. Let me tell you about the Pet Cemetery.
Well, I think what
Don't
happened
go
with
there.
this movie was it was a quick cash grab to try to hold the rights to that
I mean,
IP.
that's possible, but John Lithgow's he's knows better.
That's true.
I
guess.
watched it because I liked the first one, so I figured I'd give the I've never watched the second one, but I decided to give the remake a try, and I was like, it's a movie. It's but what I will say that I do like in the second one though is that they add more information about the Wendigo, because I don't even remember them mentioning the Wendigo in the first one.
Because they shouldn't have. It wasn't even in the book.
Wasn't? No.
There's no mention that doesn't have anything to do with the original Micmac tale.
Well, I also just
Don't get me
only-
wrong.
yeah.
I think the main guy in the new one did a better job.
Yeah, he's a good
he
actor.
did a better job. I can't remember his name. He's always that like throw him in this movie guy because we can't find anybody. Like
Well,
he played
he's
like
got-
John Connor in fucking Terminator Genesis and shit.
Yeah,
he's always that throwaway.
Yeah, he's got a more deep sense of family man, right? Like he was a better father, I guess. Like
I think it was better acted than the original.
Yeah.
So I will give it that.
I
but-
agree with that. It's not that the original Lewis was bad. He was just kind of cold.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
so see, I said 1408, and we went right into Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, man.
we do that.
Hey, it's bad because making the list.
Sorry, Matt.
This is a movie podcast.
Making the list, I totally forgot. Pet Cemetery. I like that movie. I even for a long time was going out looking for a gray cat, wanting to name it Church.
I think everybody wanted to name their cat Church back in the day. But that's what you got to do, man. As a host, you just keep it rolling. Like we get on a subject too long, you got to stop us.
I don't know.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, we tend to do that.
Yeah, we do.
If you notice, also, you guys tend to also overtalk me a lot.
I'm so sorry.
We don't do that on purpose,
No, you
right,
don't.
Karen?
No, we don't.
You don't do it on purpose. No, but
Fucking
I try to
Karen.
get in. I'm like,
Wait, why is it always me?
I don't know. Because your name's Karen?
He's blaming you.
It's easy to
Wait,
blame Karen
you guys
nowadays.
spent like 4 episodes coming to my aid and being like, Karen's not a Karen, and now like the past 2 episodes, you're trying to prove I am one?
We're just trying to...
I didn't
Well,
say
not
crap.
you, not you.
I didn't, what the fuck, dude?
Last time you were like,
so now it's
you were
me.
like, fucking
Now
Karen.
I'm the Karen, huh?
Yeah, you are. You fucking Karen.
Well, let's get on to what we're actually doing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
next?
Sorry, Dad.
Are we going
What's yours?
For me, my number 5 was Dog Soldiers from
Dog
2002,
Soldiers.
directed by Neil Marshall, stars Sean Pertwee and Liam Cunningham.
Was it 2002?
It was 2002.
That was a good movie.
And the reason why I love this fucking... Because, okay, so horror movies are our speciality around here.
Yeah.
Or at least for me and Karen.
Yeah.
And the only movies as a kid that scared the fucking balls out of me were werewolf movies. I was scared to death of werewolves. And everybody thinks I'm a fucking pussy. Well, they're not even real, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but dude, they look freaky as shit on TV.
Jed was scared of what?
I'm afraid of... and not this CG crap or these fucking Twilight werewolves.
Listen.
I'm talking about these big, monstrous, angry-looking man-eaters, man.
There's going to be no judgment here for what scared you when you were a kid, because we're all going to talk about different, especially in this one, because there's going to be, you're talking about your favorite movies, and obviously in this one, it's going to come up because obviously what scared you.
Dude, when I was a kid, I couldn't watch horror movies.
Well, see, the thing is I was pretty much...
What scared you should be on this list.
Well, what I'm saying is I was like, oh, fuck, how old was I? 16?
Oh, you pussy.
17? No, I'm saying... So this movie specifically did not scare me that much.
No,
but like older movies like American Werewolf in London,
that was good,
Silver Bullet...
Silver Bullet.
That one was really good.
Like those movies scared the shit out of me.
Done, yeah.
What was the other one? Oh, fucking Bad Moon. That was a really scary one.
Seen that one.
You've never seen Bad Moon?
Never seen I've never seen Dog Soldiers either. I gotta get around.
I'll let you borrow it, dude.
Dog Soldiers is good.
Dog Soldiers is the shit.
It was gonna be on my list.
Remember when we watched your pick, the one that the second one we did.
Doomsday?
Yeah, Doomsday.
This is the same director.
We talked about Dog Soldiers a lot,
same director.
and I said I was going to watch
he also
it.
Directed,
I just haven't gotten around to it.
He also directed The Descent.
Yeah,
I like that movie too.
Which also could have been on this list.
Wait, The Descent.
Yeah, me too.
It's such a
Which
good
one
movie.
was the one where they go into a cave and they end up...
The Descent.
That's The Descent.
Yeah, but as the guy gets scratched by a monster, ends up turning... Because there's another one that's kind of like the same thing. They go into an underwater cave, but it's not The Descent. I think
it's called The Cave.
Yeah, The Cave.
Yeah, it's called The Cave.
I've never seen that.
That one's called The Cave.
Yeah, I never seen it.
But yeah, like, dude, I love everything about this movie because it's kind of an action movie, but it's also like a confined, one of those movies like they're trapped inside this house, and the house it's surrounded by fucking werewolves.
Yeah.
And they're this military like squad. I think it's in Scotland. I think it's in Scotland. And so they get stuck in this house with this girl who apparently lives there. I can't remember if she lives there or what. But and then this house is surrounded by werewolves, and they got to kind of fend off these werewolves stuck inside this house, and it's fucking insane. And like I said, and like you'll notice with all of my list here, I love practical effects. Mm-hmm. I love people in costumes. I love practical effects. I love anything that somebody can create out of hard work, not just with a fucking computer.
See, when I see Dog Soldiers...
And whenever in this is a perfect prime example of a good looking, like just an awesome looking fucking werewolf. Mm-hmm. This is one of the scariest, I would say, iterations of a werewolf, in my opinion. Because they're just these big, tall, hairy, I mean, they're not even fully hairy, but just massive fucking monsters. And it's awesome. They're fucking awesome.
I remember when I first watched Dog Soldiers, and I forget where I watched it, but I seen it, and it was just like a movie. I was like, okay, I'll try this one.
Yeah.
I watched it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this movie
It was one of those movies where, like, the first time I saw it, I was like looking for a good, because you don't see a lot of good werewolf movies anymore.
No,
you don't.
And
you ever watch Wolves with Jason Momoa?
No, I think I've seen that. It looked terrible. There is another good werewolf movie that came out some years ago, and it was called Howl. It was called Howl, and it's about a group of people on a train, and it gets stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and these werewolves or something from the woods are attacking this train. And it's actually a really good one too. It's got a lot of good special effects.
The last, and I could be misremembering because it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember watching Silver Bullet and being almost sort of blown away by the practical effects, the transformation scene.
See, yeah, those are the things that scare me the most is the transformations. Like
when he
that's
shoots
the scariest
him
part.
And he turns back into the human.
That's one of the scariest parts of
me.
American Werewolf in London.
Yes,
it's whenever he's just like sitting in the chair reading that book, and out of nowhere he just starts screaming in pain and agony because he's transforming for the first time.
Right.
And that they show the whole thing, and he actually won awards for that for those special effects.
Yeah.
But because in Wolves, like the only reason I watched it was because it was Jason Momoa, and this was the time when I loved Jason Momoa. The transformation's kind of dumb because Any movie you see with a werewolf transformation, it's usually like there's bones breaking and stuff. Okay, now these guys just transformed into werewolves, to where even their hair grew, like on their head. Like most, like they'll rip their skin off and stuff. No, they're.
I think those are the best transformations. Whenever they rip off their own skin. And the beast comes out from under the skin.
Because it makes sense.
I will say that I know a lot of people didn't care for it as much, but I loved the Wolfman remake with fucking what's his face. God damn it, he's a good actor. Benicio del Toro.
Oh, I haven't seen that one either. I think the best like wolf transformations, in my opinion, are not necessarily the ones that are like where they're ripping their skin and stuff, because I think it's more like. Yeah, like where their face will change, because what's happening is happening underneath, kind of like the Howling, right?
And shit. Yeah, isn't the Howling like that?
Yeah. Or like like
that's why I like too when they do like the thing and you see like their shoulder blades like
or like you see like their underneath like their bones are changing,
and they do that in Underworld too. But but it's those are action movies; those aren't meant to be really scary, I guess.
Like, the only time I really think that, like, where they're, like, ripping their skin and stuff makes sense is, like, when they're actually changing into, like, something completely... If
they did that in Trick or Treat.
Yeah. Or, like, like, if
that's
they're...
one of the only ones I've seen them where they really ripped it.
And they really ripped it off.
Like werewolves, like, if you're changing into a werewolf, it doesn't really make sense to me where they're, like, ripping off their skin. But, like, if they're changing into, like, a wolf, right?
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
Because now they're down on all fours and they're
I
like
understand
a dog,
that,
like that makes sense.
But how do you explain a fucking wolf transformation anyway?
I don't know. I'm just saying I've seen that though. Like I've seen where they turn into like more of a wolf-looking creature than a werewolf-looking creature.
I do like the ones a lot more where it's like the bones are all shifting and stuff.
Yeah, I like that better. I think for like a werewolf.
I like the bones
that is cool too. But they I think with the newer ones they've taken somewhat CG to them, and it's not practical effects anymore. That it doesn't have the same effect that it used to.
See, that's why I liked Underworld.
Because whenever you see it now, it looks like CG.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
like, whereas like if you look back to like Silver Bullet or American Wolf in London, even the some scenes, not all scenes, but some scenes in Underworld where their bones shift and or in the Howling. It seems more realistic
to the audience because you look at it and you can literally see a human transforming.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now with the
CG, it goes so fast. It's like
and
then they're like a werewolf.
You're not really watching a human transform. You're watching a cartoon.
Exactly.
Well, I've never watched Twilight, but I've seen the transformation.
That doesn't even have a spot.
And basically, these guys...
I can't believe you brought that up.
Movie,
basically, from what I've seen, they jump wolf.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what happens.
I mean, yeah.
I can't stand
And they don't even really turn into a werewolf. They just turn into a wolf.
All right, so that was my number 5. And I'll stick by it. I think that'll still be one of my all-time favorite werewolf movies.
It was a good werewolf movie.
So, because it's got a good blend of like a little bit of action and horror. It's got a lot of horror in it, but it still has a little bit of action in it, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, see, I didn't add Dog Soldiers because I wanted to see it again before I added it to make sure I still really liked it. So.
Well, if you ever want to borrow, I got it on Blu-ray. So,
my number 5 is an obvious Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one.
The first one.
The 1984.
I'm surprised it's actually so far down.
It's so far down.
It's so far down because it's actually my least favorite.
Oh, really?
Of all of the nightmares?
Of all the nightmares.
It's not my least favorite, but it's definitely not my favorite.
Well, number 2 is obviously the least favorite. But
definitely. I think that's everybody's least favorite.
It's because, like, obviously the first one has to hold a special place because it starts the whole thing. It's where everything originates from, everything comes from. But I think it's also I hate to say this, but also has the weakest. Like, it has the weakest plot, has the weakest points.
I think that whenever Wes Craven went in to do this, he was only planning on doing one movie. I don't think he was looking at, like, but New Line, I think, wanted to...
Yeah,
they wanted to, like, franchise this.
and you have to blame New Line for the weak ending. You have to blame New Line for a lot of the weak points, I agree. Because the original ending was finite. The original ending was, Freddy was gone, everything was over, and that was the end. So you have to blame New Line for a lot of the bullshit.
I'll be honest with you. I think that if they would have stuck with just one movie, I think that movie would have lived on to be more infamous than the entire series.
Probably.
Because I think that it would have gathered more of a cult following, and I think that the fact that you didn't get all this hammered out at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I can
especially through the good part of the late 80s and early 90s is when
I can certainly agree with that, because it probably would have made it a lot further down on my list. It would have been a lot stronger for me.
Yeah.
Because, well, yeah. But I
mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a well-acted movie.
No.
You know what I mean?
And honestly, I've brought it up before. Like, I don't care for Nancy. She's not. To me, she's not the heroine of the franchise. She died.
That's true.
She died in number 3. She died. He got her. Alice got away.
That is true. Alice did get away. Yeah.
Alice got away.
Alice and the friend. I don't remember her name.
I liked.
From this, but she was only on one movie.
You're right.
I liked the new Nightmare mainly because it wasn't like the regular. It was a demon.
I think, see, that's cool and all, but I think that whenever it comes to that, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's a whole other, like, I could see certain points on defending that movie, but also, as a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, I didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I know that doesn't make much sense because that's what it is, but to me, it's not. It's not at the same time.
You could have an entire conversation about that.
Exactly. So, and I knew what Wes Craven wanted to go that route. Like, let's make this a conversation piece. Let's make it, but whatever. I don't want to get into it because it's a whole, like you said, like we could literally spend 4 hours, if not longer, on just a Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Like we could talk about that franchise for hours.
We could take an entire year of our podcast.
An entire podcast.
Another podcast. You could make a podcast out of that.
Shit.
Yeah, so that's my number 5. It's a lot of my childhood was spent on the Nightmare series.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I have to have it on my list somewhere.
I think Nightmare on Elm Street might have been one of the first horror movies I can remember ever watching.
Well, it's funny because obviously it was a big part of the 80s. Is, that movie came out the year I was born, 1984. And
when did 2 come out?
I don't fucking know. But I remember
it had to been early 90s.
I remember my mom telling me, like, when I went to kindergarten, and my teacher had an assignment that it was like, draw your hero, right?
You did not draw this motherfucker.
I drew Freddy Krueger, and my mom got pulled in for a conference.
We need to talk about your daughter.
And that's exactly what they said. They said, your daughter drew this, and my mom was like, you realize that she doesn't mean it like what you think a hero is.
Yeah. She
means it because, like, to a kindergartner, a hero is someone who makes you laugh. A hero is someone who, like, you like to, like a cartoon character. This guy, to her, is a cartoon character. He makes her laugh. He's funny. Like, he makes jokes. That's what he is to her. And she defended me. So, thank you, Mom.
Yeah, thank you, Mom.
But, yeah, I mean, Freddy is my favorite franchise, so this movie had to be on my list somewhere. And, so it's number 5.
I'm trying to find out when Nightmare on Elm Street 2...
I want to say it was like 3 years later, so I'm going to go with 87.
No, actually, it was the next year. It was 85.
Damn.
I thought it was later. I thought it was later, too. But yeah, it's 85.
Yeah, they probably were Bam Bam Bam, because New Line.
Right.
Fucking Bob Shea and his money hungriness.
Yeah.
Do you know...
They were pumping them fucking movies.
Here's a fun fact about Bob Shea, though.
Look, hold on a second. Dream Warriors, or Dream Child, came out in 89. Could you imagine? Like literally, movie after movie. So, like, Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 84, 2, 85, 3, 87, 4, 88, and then 5, 89. So they were just pumping them out.
Can you imagine poor Robert, like, hey, we need to play... God bless... I can't get anything fucking done around here.
Final Nightmare came out in 91, and then New Nightmare came out in 94. So I think what it was... I could see Wes Craven sitting back saying, God, they're really just, like, taking my idea and just, like, cranking them out and making all this money off of it. He's probably like... And then they try to kill him off, and he's just like, fuck that. You ain't killing off my... This is actually what he said. He said, you're not killing off my creation or whatever, you know what I mean? So, but I don't know.
He said my terms.
Oh, yeah.
That's all he said.
Yeah.
He literally just came out when they announced Freddy's dead, and after the movie was over and it was released. And then in 1994,
which is bullshit because it was Wes Craven's baby, man.
Well, he literally this is all I'll say about it was he announced that he was going to make another Freddy movie, and when they asked him, what are your plans for the movie, he literally said, "My terms."
Yeah, and I don't know how well it did or anything, but
he told Bob Shea essentially like, I'm doing what I want.
But then again, 2 years later, he went on and made fucking the first Scream movie, which revolutionized horror movies, like for the foreseeable future. You know what I mean? He took slasher movies to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So.
But here's a funny thing about Bob Shea, though. I just have to throw this out there. In the second one, he requested that they give him a role, and they made him the gay bartender, and he never caught on that he was the gay bartender until many, many years later, and it was only until they pointed it out to him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Anyway.
Alrighty.
So,
back to Matt.
Number 2.
Number
4.
2.
I mean, number 4.
Number 4, yeah. Sorry, I said number 2 also.
Mine's kind of weird, but it's an episode of X-Files. And I've never really gotten into X-Files, but it's one episode called X-Cops. And it's season 7, and it's basically they do a crossover between X-Files and Cops.
That sounds awesome, but I don't remember this at all.
To where they're basically chasing down a beast that turns into your fear.
I do remember this.
And it's a whole...
I vaguely remember this, I think.
They even have Freddy Krueger in there as one of the people that this woman has that she...
Like actual Freddy Krueger or Robert Englund?
No, they have Freddy Krueger. Not the... It's a picture that they've drawn because the girl says something attacked her in her house, and it scratches on the door, and it was what she feared.
Oh, really?
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, so it's basically this beast.
They didn't have the...
I said, did they get sued for that?
But
they didn't have the budget, so it's not Freddy Krueger.
Mulder and Scully go with these people trying to get all these things, and it turns out that they're just chasing this monster that turns into people's fears, and they're trying to like get the cameras to turn off and stuff, and it was just like a good episode. I just really like.
There's a lot of good episode X-Files. Like, dude, I remember the one episode. I don't remember how early on this was, but I was like an episode where like these two boys, they were brothers, and anything they would touch would turn to mold. Like it would mold. They would mold. So if they touched another human being, they literally mold to death. See, and it's just so weird. Like, some of their episodes were so fucking bizarre, but they were so good.
This episode is weird because this episode came into my life when I was having, like, a bad time. Like, I was depressed and stuff. And I end up remember seeing this episode and that just being, like, that. It was just, I was so into that episode.
Yeah, it almost took you out of...
Yeah, it took me out what I was going through and stuff. And I tried to watch X-Files again from one, and I was like,
I did too.
It's good, but I'm just not
I did too.
into
a few years back, I was like, I'm going to get back into it. I want to rewatch this whole series. And I think I was like a few episodes through the first season, and I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, because
it hasn't aged well.
I watched like 2 or 3 episodes.
There's a few good episodes. It's kind of like Tales from the Crypt. There's a few good episodes.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
all right, sorry.
Fuck
my
right
bad.
off.
But yeah, I got like 1
Crypt
or 2
Keeper's
episodes
the best part of all of it.
And I was like, I just can't do this. And then I looked for this one, and I watched it again, and I was like, now, see, I don't know what it is. It's just that episode, it reminds me of the time I was going through, and then it just... Every time I watch it just takes me out of where I am and right into it because I just think it's neat. Also, the storyline's awesome.
That's good though.
A ghost that turns into
honestly though, man, that's what movies are supposed to do. They're supposed to take you to a place where
that's the very definition of a good movie. Is one that can pull you out of like whatever,
make you feel completely different. You know what I mean, or at least for that time.
Yeah, and
if they can pull you out of like your reality, whether your reality is good, bad, it doesn't matter. If it pulls you out of your reality,
I can give you a perfect example: Requiem for a Dream. Watch that fucking movie and walk away and tell me you're not depressed. I swear to God, that movie will make you depressed.
Dude, I'm singing when I walk away from that movie.
What the fuck?
I mean, what?
Dancing in the rain.
But yeah, it was just one of the episodes that I just remember, and it was like I remember that and one other episode, but that one, like X-Cops, is the one I remember big time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I'll dig into that one. I mean, I remember it, and they had a Supernatural episode that was like that too. I think there was like a monster that turned into your fear. Or something.
There's been a couple like that.
Well, there was one where like
he got scratched.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Dean got scratched because I watched all of them, and yeah, that was the one that was like it was called. Oh, what was it?
Which one was it?
I think it was something fever.
Cat scratch fever.
I don't think it was that, but it was just funny because there's like this bar. It's like one of the funniest episodes.
The cat comes out and he's.
Oh yeah,
scary.
That was scary.
That was scary.
I remember that. I do remember that one because they're in the cabin and shit too.
Yeah, because he gets progressively more and more scared about everything.
I'm actually going through the whole Supernatural series, and I think we're on like we're on season 11 right now.
I didn't like it. I don't like the fact that it goes from we're fighting ghosts to just angels and demons.
Well, no, it gets better. Like they do that for like a few seasons, then I think somebody bitched to.
They get into other shit too. Like I think the season I'm on right now.
They get back into the monster. They get back into the monster.
They do. Well, I know the season that I'm on right now. They're fighting what essentially is darkness. So before there was light, there was dark, and that's what they're fighting right now is the dark.
Yeah.
So, all right, my turn.
Yep.
4.
For my number 4, I chose Aliens, the second one from 1986, directed by
Game over, man.
Game over, man. Directed by James Cameron. Fucking Jimmy, that guy, and his
Alita,
man.
Forget him.
Yeah, never gonna forgive him. Stars Sigourney Weaver, obviously. Michael Bain. I think that's.
Is it Bain?
Is it Bain or Bean? I don't know. Bain.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. And Bill Paxton and a bunch of other people like fucking what's his face from Pumpkinhead?
Yeah, he was the robot.
Yeah.
No, I've seen a meme.
Lance Henriksen.
Hendrickson.
Not Hendrickson.
Bill Paxton.
Henriksen.
Bill Paxton has been killed by a predator.
Yeah.
An alien.
Yep.
And a Terminator.
Yep.
He was killed, but he was in Predator too. Yeah.
Yep.
Holy shit.
You guys ever seen that movie Frailty that he did?
Yes.
I love that fucking movie.
That's a very good movie.
Oh,
I like Twister.
Twister. Yeah. That's such a good movie.
It is good. It's a good time.
I feel like whenever Bill Paxton entered a room, that's what was happening. It just a gust of wind.
Probably. Yeah.
He's like standing in the doorway, like all epic, like, and then just wind
and everybody's like
behind him, like
hold on to your shit.
I love Bill Paxton though, dude. I was like, Bill Paxton died. And I was like, oh.
No.
I know it was a very. I like whenever they said he died. I'm like Bill Paxton. Why? How?
Yeah, because I was like, isn't he still kind of young?
I thought for sure he would outlive me. Like,
right?
You know, like I love Bill Paxton though. Like, and this is one of his most iconic roles because he's got the best lines in it.
Yeah.
Game over, man.
And didn't he ad-lib that? I feel like he had a different line he was supposed to say.
Yeah, that line's like in everything. If it's got a pop culture reference, it's game over.
Game over, man. Mm-hmm. I just love Bill Paxton, but I also loved Sigourney Weaver, Michael Bain. I loved Lance Henriksen. Hell, they got half of the fucking crew from Predator 2 in this movie. Mm-hmm. And also, sorry, not Predator 2, from Near Dark. So they were in this first, and then they were in Near Dark. Mm-hmm. So Lance Henriksen, I can't remember the lady's name.
I don't.
She's
remember.
the badass.
I see her in my fucking head.
She was the badass in Aliens, but she was like the mother type in Near Dark. Mm-hmm. And honestly,
talking about the girl with the big old machine gun.
Yeah, that was her.
She was Michelle Rodriguez before Michelle Rodriguez
before she was born. That was who Michelle Rodriguez looked up to growing up.
She was a little girl going,
because that is literally, if they made an Aliens remake or a Near Dark, it would be Michelle Rodriguez. Hands down.
Yeah,
like, that's
absolutely.
Who you'd pick. But Bill Paxton, this and Near Dark are probably two of my favorite roles from him.
Yeah.
Whenever he played Severin or whatever in Near Dark.
Oh, yeah.
I know this is a really bad time to bring this up, but I really gotta pee. So I'm gonna go for a minute, and I'll be back.
We're just gonna pause it right here, Matt. You go take your tinkle.
Sorry.
You feel better, Matty? Feel better? I went tinkle.
I guess I shouldn't have drank that tea so quick.
Sorry, I'm over here drinking coffee. Like I'm thinking, like, when's it gonna hit me? When am I gonna have to pee?
And I'm the girl over here, like, I don't have to pee at all.
Women usually have the smaller bladder, and we're over here like, I gotta pee.
Usually I'd be like, okay, I can hold it, but there's got to a point where I was like, I'm not gonna make it.
Okay, so all right, yeah. So Aliens was mine for number 4. All right. Whose turn is it?
It's Karen's.
My number 4, I don't know if you guys have ever even heard of it, but it's called The Entity. Came out in 1982.
Sounds familiar, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
I don't think so.
This is a terrifying movie for women because it's about a ghost, it's a ghost, and it was based on a true story, and raped this woman all the time. And
what the fuck?
Like, her kids and stuff. It was a whole big thing. I think I heard
about it.
The reason
it was based on a true story.
The reason it's famous is because
how close is it to the story though?
It's pretty close based on
her accounts.
No, there's actually scientific. The reason it's famous is because out of all of the when you talk about are ghosts real or not, right? That whole thing. There was a lot of parapsychology people at this college. It happened in California, where she got a lot of attention because of what was happening to her. And there's some controversy about whether it was real or not, obviously, but they did get a lot of evidence from her house and a lot of good evidence that's still today being used and documented. And they actually there's a scene in the movie that was modeled after some of the best evidence. At the climax of the movie, they build this scale model of her house and essentially like try to lure the ghost there and capture it, or they try to, right? Mm-hmm. And they do get it to come there and like follow her there. And so
this ghost didn't want to rape anybody else, just her.
There was something about her, apparently.
I guess that ass she had it going on.
She was played by Barbara Hershey in the movie. I don't know.
Who's Barbara Hershey?
She was in a lot of different stuff. She was in Beaches, but I never watched that. I can't think of it.
All right. Well,
anyway,
yeah.
So anyway, so like
a rapey ghost.
Yeah, rapey ghost. But they capture it. They got like all these pictures. I mean, essentially, it looks like a big cloud or whatever. Like they I've seen the pictures and stuff.
It's not graphic, is it?
No, not really. But like,
I hate rape scenes.
I watched it as a kid.
They're very just
I watched it as a kid, and obviously that's like, I mean, I wasn't scared, but like, there's also the score for this movie sets the tone very well.
Well, we all know how Joseph is about scores.
Yeah. So like, I can still hear that score today. Like at work, I'll listen to movie scores because there's not typically a lot of words, so I can concentrate pretty well. And like, I could be like, in the middle of doing something, and if that score comes on, I could be like, let's not listen to that one. Like it's just a terrifying movie for a woman, I suppose.
You listen to scores? Just listen to them?
Mm-hmm. Only horror movie ones, usually.
You are a fucking nerd.
I like horror movies. They relax
It's so
me.
weird that she just listens to scores.
They relax me. Like horror movie themes.
Okay.
I can see where it relaxes.
A lot of them are relaxing. You ever heard like the Poltergeist theme?
Well, yeah.
Like, it's very soothing.
Do you ever listen to the Predator theme?
Dun, no, that's
that's Terminator. Dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah, I actually do have that one on one of
mine. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have that.
I can see where it's. There's a lot of different people that have like different things. Like I like Rain is real soothing to me. Like Rain.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Like Purple Rain.
Yeah, like Purple Rain. Joseph.
What's with this guy?
Hey, I'm just trying to keep it light, man. Purple Rain.
Good lord. Anyway, that's my number 4.
Okay. then it's back to me. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Woo!
You're up.
Number 3 for me. Mine's actually a series. It's a series of movies.
Oh, okay.
Resident Evil.
The whole series?
Yes, because I couldn't put it on one movie because there are a lot of the movies I like when they show it's not the zombies, the monsters that they have though.
He doesn't like the movies. It's Mila.
Oh yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit about the
Doesn't
movies.
care about the movies.
But,
doesn't care about the monsters.
like,
he just wants to see Mila Jovovich.
Mostly, I like what, not so much the zombies. It's the creatures that they make, like the big thing with the hammer.
Oh yeah.
Nemesis. In the last one, they got this like dragon-looking thing, and then when they bring in also just the world around it, the world that they show you how the world is and stuff. And I like that because
I will say they did a good job of bringing the monsters.
Yeah.
I liked the first one. That was it. Nemesis was okay, but it was kind of campy.
I didn't like any of them.
Well, see, I like campy.
And then after that, they just turned it dog
see,
shit
I
for
couldn't
me, so
also.
I didn't like any of them.
I really like the one where they go into Vegas, and it's all covered in sand.
What is that one?
I
Apocalypse?
think that's 3 or something.
I think it's
like
Apocalypse or
something. Yeah, but like a lot of the movies, I just like the world building.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is. I'm into post-apocalyptic stuff. I don't know why. I think
yes,
it's because
you are. We have realized
You have a
this.
type.
And I think it's because it goes back to, because I've always figured maybe it's that grunge thing, because I kind of like the grunge style and stuff.
He's also a big Fallout fan, so if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
He loves Fallout.
And it's just, I don't know what it is. Something with the post-apocalyptic stuff that just throws me I just like it. It's just, because there's so much different stuff.
Yeah.
That goes into it, and I just it's the post-apocalyptic with the also, like I said, the monsters. I was never a big the game guy. I never played any of the games.
I've played
The Resident Evil games.
Yeah, I've played almost all of them.
Yeah, see, when the Resident Evil games came out, I wasn't into video games.
Oh, I played all of them except for I stopped at the one with the villagers that had the things in their heads. I stopped after that one. Four. Yeah, I stopped.
I stopped at 6. I didn't play 6 because it was a giant pile of dog shit. I played every one of them before that, and then I haven't beat what would be 7, I guess, but it's just called Resident Evil. I think it's called Biohazard. I don't remember.
Is it the one in the house?
It's the one in the house.
It's
Yeah,
Biohazard.
I didn't beat that one, but I played most of it, and then I haven't played Village. But I even played like Code Veronica X and some of them off games too.
I played one that was on a Wii, and I had like the little fake gun.
That was 4.
Yeah, well, I played a little bit of that one, and then I like I said, I watched my cousins play the games. I'm not good at puzzle games, and they have puzzles in them.
They don't have. They kind of do away with the puzzles after 3.
Yeah, they sort of became shoot 'em ups after.
Pretty much, they became action games. That's kind of what drew me away from, because I'm with you. I like the puzzle games.
I like the puzzle games.
Because 3 was my favorite.
There
I
was
loved 3.
one that like they gave away for free, and I tried to play it, and I got lost immediately.
Yeah.
Trying to get one thing to get to another door, and then you can't go through this door because you got to get this thing.
Oh,
it's in this place.
I played 2 and 3. I played 2 and 3 so many fucking
puzzles.
times that I could. I played 2 and 3 so many times that I could run right through those games. 3 was the best because it had a lot of replayability, because after you beat the game the first time, you got Mercenaries mode, which you go through Mercenaries mode and collect cash, and then you could buy like unlimited ammo for the whole game, or you could buy the minigun, or you could buy a rocket launcher, and you get to run through you can run through the whole campaign again with a rocket launcher with unlimited ammo, and it takes like 2 shots to kill Nemesis. You know what I mean?
Did you guys ever have the original one before the director's cut came out?
The first Resident Evil 1, the first one?
Yeah.
I don't remember, honestly.
My cousin had it, and this was before the director's cut came out, and because when the director's cut came out, they fixed it, but before the director's cut came out, if you beat the game, there was like a weird glitch, kind of weird thing, or like they fucked up, but like Barry would reappear like 4 or 5 times, like, you know, he died here, and then like, you know, he'd come and help you later in the game, and you're like, he died,
you're dead.
And then like
you're like a super zombie.
Yeah, and then like later, like when you're fighting the tyrant, like he'd show up like on the rooftop and help you into the helicopter, and you're like, What are you doing here? And then, like, you'd be sitting in the helicopter in, like, the cutaway scene or whatever, and his hand would, like, clap you on the shoulder and be like, we made it, buddy. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. I think you're a figment of my imagination.
But then when the director's cut came out, they fixed it. But I remember when we played it and we beat it, me and my cousin were like,
I'm confused.
what happened?
Is this a psychological thriller?
Yeah. I used to watch my cousins play it and stuff, and like I just never really got into the games. Like I've even watched, like they came out with like 2 or something, and I've watched gameplay videos of them. I watched gameplay.
I did beat the remake of 2 and the remake of 3.
But see, I got
the 2 remake was fucking baller, dude. That was a great game.
The movie, also, the storyline I can stay with. The storyline for the video game threw me the heck off.
Yeah.
Since when are they going into post-apocalypse cities? And now they're in, like, old medieval villages.
Well, no, they're not old medieval villages. I don't know exactly the premise. The premise of, like, village is, like, vampires and werewolves or something.
Vampires and werewolves, yeah.
I guess it's good. People say it's good. I haven't played it. So all I know is there's a giant fucking vampire lady with giant bongos, and it's just, and people were like, as soon as they released the trailer for that game, people were like obsessing over her. I'm like, dude, she's a giant vampire lady.
I didn't understand.
I was like, I don't know. She's not attractive. What is attractive about that?
I didn't understand it either.
I'm like,
I understand Jessica Rabbit. Like, I understand,
but this giant lady, I'm thinking like, dude, she would smother you. Like,
see, the thing is, though, I watched the game, and it's a good game, but I wouldn't consider it like, they should have made it not Resident Evil. They should have just made it like its own game. Like Village. They could have just called it Village.
Well, the reason
maybe it was a Troll 2 scenario. They just...
Well, this one has Chris Redfield in it. So.
Yeah. And, like, it's some girl looking for their kid.
Well, maybe they could have called it Resident Evil, Chris's side story.
One of Chris's side... He's older in this, too, so I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah. But again, I like the movies, the video games. I've watched them played, but yeah, I'm not good with puzzles. So.
Right.
But... Again, also, it might be one of those things where, he only likes the movie because he didn't play the games.
No, well,
things like that,
that's not true. I know, I think Alec, actually, our good friend Alec, is, I know he's a huge Resident Evil fan because me and him beat 5 together. We co-op that whole game together. And he was a huge Resident Evil fan, so... If anybody might like the whole franchise, it might be him. He might actually like that whole franchise. And
also, I'm not going to lie.
See, I'm one of those people that I like the games so much that I didn't care for the movies. And my entire reasoning for it is that you already had a very good plot.
Yeah.
Why
would
why wouldn't you
Alice was this extra character for no reason.
Like, why wouldn't you just use it for the movies?
Part of me is also, Karen writes, Mila Jovovich. I love her acting. I think she's a great actress.
I don't have a problem with her.
I don't think she's a good actress at all. I
didn't understand why you already have a good plot.
Yeah.
You already have a good story. You already have, I understand that you've got to change things a little bit to bring it into a different media. That's fine. But you already had a really good
essentially, but if you think about it, like, the games were essentially movies anyway.
Yeah.
Why even change it?
That's
and they tried to do that with the recent one that they did, Welcome to Raccoon City. But the problem with that is that they tried to cram 2 fucking games into one movie, and it didn't work. It bombed for that reason.
I won't watch that. I heard it's crap.
It's not crap.
I've heard it's woke as heck.
I don't think it's woke at all.
Well, you know how people say woke.
I don't know what that even would entail for this.
Yeah, but see, the whole woke culture is really weird because people will be like, "Oh, it's woke," and it's just because it has a woman as a strong woman as a leading actress.
I mean, that's Claire. I think the girl that played Claire was great. Yeah. I think they kind of did. What's his face? What's his goddamn name? The douchey guy, the one that nobody. Well, I don't.
Oh, Wesker?
No, not Wesker.
You say douchey guy.
Well, yeah, he's not really douchey, but he's one of the heroes or whatever. God damn it, he was in the second one, the rookie.
Chris.
No, that's not Chris. Chris is.
Who was the...
Leon.
Yeah.
So I think they did Leon kind of dirty for the movie because they made him like this incompetent dipshit.
Yeah, he's not incompetent.
He's not incompetent at all in the games. And And then I think that the rest of the cast did fine, and I think that the movie itself, like, I think that the mansion stuff was good for this movie. The mansion stuff was like on par. They even did like that part where like they first see the first zombie, and that zombie turns his head around.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
And they did that in the movie, and they did it really well.
Yeah.
And there were certain parts where it was just cool. Like if they would have just stuck with the whole mansion thing, it would have been great.
It would have been great.
Like I said, I like.
And then do the second one in the city. You know what I mean?
That's my point. Is that if they would have taken the movies and you already had a good plot, you already had good characters, well written, fleshed out characters.
There was too much comedy.
So
there was too much comedy for these movies.
To be more like the game.
Yeah,
I want it to be scary.
Why? It's kind of like if you have, I don't know, Jaws, okay, Jaws the book, and you say I'm gonna make a movie about Jaws, this book here, and then you make a movie about a killer bear instead of the book.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You take the name.
Yeah, and you just slap a bear in there
and then you go.
Instead of being on a beach, it's in the woods. Why?
Yeah, you take
you had
the
a
name,
good premise before.
And then the only thing you kept was the mansion and the zombies.
Kind of like they did
That's
with
it.
I Am Legend.
No, the only thing they did was change the ending. Really.
No. I Am Legend.
No, they changed
the closest. I will defend the book all day because
I Am Legend.
The closest. Yeah,
it's a great book.
The closest iteration to that was Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, which should have been on my list honestly because that's one of my favorite.
Way to go! You
movies.
fucked up.
Well, I was gonna put it on there. I thought about it. Nah, we'll keep it more recent.
Legend is one of my favorite books.
Oh, we were supposed to keep it recent.
I mean, like more recent. Yeah. Like I Am Legend, or I mean, Last Man on Earth was like, what, fucking 50s?
Yeah.
50s or 60s. But that's a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's my beef with Resident Evil. That's all I got. I mean, they're not bad movies. They just they should have called them something else.
It's one of those. It's one of those situations where it's supposed to be this, but it should be something.
It's a whole other story. They say it's the Alice story or whatever. Well, Alice doesn't exist in the game, so
exactly.
I don't agree with that.
Exactly.
All right. So my number 3 is Predator, the first Predator from 19.
Good.
Honestly. It was hard. I could have honestly done both Predator 1 and 2. Because I don't care what anybody says, the second Predator movie was fucking awesome. Because
I barely remember the second one.
I had Danny Glover in it and Bill Paxton. And it was fucking awesome because it was like this very gritty fucking tale of like gangs going crazy in LA and shit like that. And it was awesome. Like
I just remember it being in the city.
It was a very gritty movie, and it was just it was fantastic. And what better than maybe not the jungle, but a jungle of iron, of block and
iron.
They
call it like the urban jungle or something like that. It's supposed to be
something like that.
Jungle.
I think that's not necessarily where that term was coined, but where it became kind of more pop culture.
Yeah,
where more people became aware of it.
Yeah. And that's what it is, essentially. Yeah. It's a fucking jungle.
Oh, yeah.
But the first one, dude, is awesome for so many goddamn reasons. For one, it's got a stacked-ass cast with just these macho-ass dudes being macho-ass dudes.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura, fucking Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Can we just talk about how the fact that Predator comes along and just rips them all apart, they're paper.
Well, the funny part about it is on set for that movie, it was always a contest of who had the bigger muscles.
Oh yeah.
So it was seriously like it like that scene, like whenever Arnold's character Dutch and Carl Weathers' character they meet. Yeah. And they're like, they grab each other like, you're getting weak, ha ha ha. You know what I mean? Like, sitting behind that desk is making you weak, yeah.
Speaking of our very good friend Alec, his Arnold impression is just spot on.
Fucking love Arnold, dude. Everyone's like, oh, Arnold this, Arnold. Dude, Arnold's a shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you for not agreeing. Like, I don't care.
He's a good actor.
No, I just think
he's not a good actor. He's a great action actor.
Yeah,
Like, he's good for action movies. Like, you put him in a serious role, I guess he's honed his skills a little bit better with age. But
well, that's what I mean. He's a good action actor. I've almost seen him. I love what they do with like Expendables, one of them, they brought like in him and Chuck Norris
and Bruce Willis.
The Expendables were great movies.
Yeah.
They're
making
good.
another one.
Are they?
Yeah. They're coming out with another one.
I think it was just funny because they even had Chuck Norris and he made a Chuck Norris joke.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, he was like, they call him like the lone wolf or something like that in the movie.
That.
And they're talking about like, and like even Sylvester Stallone and him are sitting there having a conversation. He's talking about he's like, I heard you did this. And he's like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I heard you did this. He's like, yeah, that was me.
That was me.
I think I think when he comes in, he goes, I got bit by a cobra, and after 3 days,
that's an actual joke.
It died.
It
died.
It died.
And that's like one of the ones.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, but yeah, I just love this movie it's got some of the best one-liners from Arnold in it. Like, get to the chopper. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Did you ever see the new Predator?
I've seen all the Predators.
Okay, well, the newest one where Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to be in the end of it, it's funny. It's
in the end of it.
He was supposed to be the
Predator. Are you talking about killer. The one in town? It had like I can't remember his name, but it also had
it was supposed to be during like Halloween.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
They had campy parts in it on purpose.
I did not like that movie though. It just got worse over time.
I thought it was funny though because
Predators was good. Well, the one where they're on their game planet.
Yeah, I haven't seen. The only ones I've ever seen is 1 and 2.
1 and 2 are good. Those are my favorites by far. I will defend 2 all day. I don't care what anybody says.
I like the one that's on the planet because that's when they like let you know that there are different breeds of predator.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And that's what I loved about that one. Predators was a good one. That was directed by, I want to say it's the same guy that did. Man, did he do? I'm thinking he's the same guy that did Zombieland. I don't know though. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember, but I know that Robert Rodriguez produced it. And but I think that movie. I think that Adrian Brody was kind of a stale player for that movie. I remember
seeing a trailer.
I think he was the worst part of that movie, only because he didn't fit that role.
They should have. They should have. They should have also
he's always
had
played like classy.
Yeah, he's always been like this classy or eccentric kind of guy.
They should have had Danny Trejo play longer, be alive.
Well, what's funny is Robert Rodriguez was against Danny Trejo even being in the movie.
Oh, really?
But I guess the guy argued, and finally Danny Trejo, he was like, "Fine, you can have Danny Trejo." I'm like, why wouldn't you want your buddy to get work?
Say,
like you're like best friends with Danny Trejo.
Doesn't he have him in like everything?
Yeah, I don't know what his beef was with that, but I don't know, man. Like I love those 2 fucking movies, and they'll never ever get stale for me. Even the new Prey movie was pretty good.
Yeah,
I really like that one too.
I guess I still need to watch that one.
That one's really good.
My friend Milo just borrowed.
Will there be continuity errors if I don't watch the other ones?
No, okay. No. It takes place 300 years in the past.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a
prequel, a prequel to a prequel.
Yeah, my friend Milo just borrowed all my Hulu stuff so he could watch that and the new Hellraiser movie. He's a real big fan of the.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the new Hellraiser, I'd suggest checking that one out too. It's pretty good. I liked it anyway. Some people may not. I don't know.
I would definitely recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't seen the Predator movies, check them out. I guess I didn't even say it was directed by John McTiernan, and obviously, and it was made in 1987, and obviously it stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and Jesse Ventura, and a bunch of other fucking people.
Few people.
Even Shane Black, who plays the nerdy guy in the movie. He's got the glasses. He's the one who directed that Predator movie that you were just talking about.
Prey?
No. The one that takes place on Halloween or whatever.
Oh,
he directed that one.
Yeah, it has a lot.
And that's why I was so surprised that it fucking bombed. I'm like, why does this movie suck so much ass? Well, dude, you know this franchise, like.
Well, like I said, Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to be in it. At the end, he was supposed to be the Predator killer.
Yeah,
but it just ended up being a.
They if you know anything about the comic books, they go into detail about Duke and after what happens to him after the events of the first one. So, Mom's calling.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, so moving on.
It's Karen's turn.
So, my number 3. Remember how we talked about what scared you as a kid?
Yeah.
and there'd be no judgment here.
I don't know. I walked in on my parents having sex one time. That scared the shit out of me.
No, I mean movie-wise. So,
they might have been making a movie. I don't know.
You don't know?
I didn't stick around. I didn't stick around long enough to find out.
You haven't seen it?
I didn't see no cameras anywhere.
So, Candyman, the original.
Oh, Candyman.
Oh, Candyman. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, for sure.
So,
but that scared the shit out of any kid.
1992, Bernard Rose, Virginia Madsen, and Tony Todd. The whole movie didn't scare me. Like, and here's the kicker. Me and my mom, this was our thing. We watched scary movies. I never got scared. It was our thing.
Right.
Like, that was our thing. We went every Friday and picked out a brand new scary movie. And this was like the brand new one, right? We went, we picked it out, we watched it. The thing that scared the shit out of me was where that little boy got his pee-pee cut off.
Oh, yeah?
It scared me so bad because it made no sense to me.
You're like, hold on, is that what happened to me?
No, I'm sitting here like, okay, this guy, this Candyman, he gets called, and he shows up and he kills people.
Yeah.
Right? He showed up and he cut off a mentally challenged boy's penis? That makes no fucking sense, and it terrified me. Like, it terrified me.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, well, hold on.
God, it's been so long since I've seen that fucking movie.
So, hold on. It did not make any sense to me, so that's why it terrified me. Right? I can make sense of it now in my head, but as, like, however...
I think I'd have to go back and rewatch. I haven't watched that movie since I was a kid, probably.
Hold on. So, like,
I watched all of them. Catch up on
I eventually, got over it or whatever, but, like, 2 or 3 years later, I'm like, I'm fucking watching this movie again, because it's not gonna take me over here, right?
Right.
So I watched it again. I realized that it wasn't Candyman that did that.
Yeah.
It was that other guy that was walking around pretending to be him that was a human that did that. And once I realized that was what happened, I was fine. But, yeah, it didn't make sense to me because Candyman is sort of like, an anti-hero, right?
Oh.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah?
In a sense.
So, like, to my... child mind, it did not make sense to me that he would do that to a innocent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Someone who honestly just doesn't deserve it in any
doesn't
way,
deserve
shape,
it in any way, shape, or form. He didn't deserve, and why would he cut his penis off? Why wouldn't he kill him? Or why wouldn't he, you know what I mean?
Why would he mutilate him?
Exactly.
More? Yeah.
So, like, that, being just cruel, that was the part that I didn't understand. It terrified me. Because
What'd you think of the new one?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah?
I can't bring myself to because I'm scared it's gonna suck.
It doesn't actually.
No?
It's really good. I liked it.
I watched all of them not too long ago, and then they came out and they said, we're doing a new one. And I was like, okay, cool. I still haven't watched it because
it's not a remake. It's not a remake.
No.
They don't talk about all the movies, but they talk about the first one. Okay. What happened in the first one.
Yeah.
So, like, I would say it's like kind of like a Halloween situation where they kind of just said fuck those sequels and was like, let's concentrate on this first one.
They kind of say like, this is what happened to this chick, and she's become part of that.
So and he's become part of that lore
urban legend or whatever.
Isn't the guy writing like a paper on urban legends and he gets
he's an artist. He's an artist who's see what happens is in this new one is what is it called? Something Green.
Cabrini
Green has been essentially those apartments have been closed down, and they're what they call gentrification, where they bring in, they try to bring in high-rise.
They're gonna try to turn them into condos, and
that kind of thing. Well, he's an artist who lives in this area, and he's part of that gentrification or whatever, but he's like enthused, like kind of like into like what happened with all that, and he finds inspiration in the whole story of Candyman and things like that with his paintings and shit.
Sure.
And it's very good. I think it was very well made, and it's got one of my fucking favorite actors right now. One of the newer actors that I gotta say is he's fucking fantastic. Yahya Abdul Mateen II, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in he's been in all kinds of shit. He was in a couple of episodes of Handmaid's Tale. He was in what else has he been in? He was in that fucking Watchmen series that was on HBO that they canceled because for whatever reason, I don't know, it was a good fucking show. but he played Dr. Manhattan. He's been in all kinds of shit, and he's just a great fucking actor. And I don't know.
Is he the main guy?
Yeah, he's the main character.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer, so I know who you're talking about.
But I love him as an actor, and he amplified it for me because he did such a good job.
I'll have to watch it, but I mean, this was on my list strictly because it scared me. It's the only movie to this day that I remember being scared of.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy the new one for the fact that it's not. It's got its quirks that people are like, I didn't like this about it, But for me, I was never a huge Candyman fan to begin with. So, like, for me, I watched it and I was like, I really enjoyed the movie for what it was.
Well, again,
not for what people were going in to expect.
Yeah, you talk about score,
Yeah.
That movie.
That's a big thing about this one, too. The new one also has, like, it's very, how do you put,
haunting?
No, I wouldn't say haunting. I guess it is haunting, but it's very atmospheric.
Yeah, the first one, that score, it just draws you in. Yeah. It makes you
and that's what
feel
it is.
Like a part of it. Yeah. I mean, and it's haunting and it sits with you.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact about that theme, Helen's theme from the original Candyman, it used to put Jack to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was going to college, I was very pregnant. I literally graduated 3 days before he was born. And
that's a graduation gift.
No shit.
Yeah. I got
so how's life? Well, other than having this baby, I just graduated college.
I literally was like cramming to get shit done so that I could graduate before he was born. So like 3 days before he was born, I graduated.
That's cool though.
But so I would be writing term papers and stuff, and I'd have my computer, by my belly, and like of course I'm listening to themes. Like I've told you guys, they don't have words, so I can concentrate. So a lot of them, I'd be listening to were horror, and Helen's theme apparently was one that stuck with him because when he was born, I noticed that certain ones would soothe him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And Helen's theme was one that if you turned it on, he would.
Dude, if your son grows up to be a serial killer,
it's my fault. 100%.
Just saying,
it's my.
You got to be the one to be like, all right, son, we got to learn how to bury bodies.
Yeah.
So
here's what's gonna happen.
You're going down with him, just so you know.
I know it. It's my fault.
Yeah.
Dexter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my number 3.
All right.
Number two.
Oh, we've done that before, haven't we?
Yeah. Creep Show.
Ooh, good one. I like it.
Okay.
I like Creep Show 1 a lot.
Yeah.
Creep Show 2 is bleh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I really don't like that story about the oil slick in Creep Show 2.
Oh, that one's creepy though.
But Creep Show, yeah, it's just I love it.
What's your favorite story in Creep Show?
Under the Stairs.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
That
one's a good one.
Good story. Yeah, that's the one that I really liked. But also, that was like one of the first anthology ones that I saw and noticed that it was the anthology.
Wasn't what was it called? Tales from the Dark Side?
Yeah,
oh,
that's another one.
They have a story from Tales from the Dark Side that I really do like. It's the one about the gargoyle.
Yeah, that's one of the few things that I've ever seen anybody do with a gargoyle involved in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I thought that was really cool.
I really liked that story and that one. But Creep Show is like, I read the comic. I didn't read the comic book. I read the book that they had of Creep Show. It was in our high school library. And it was the movie. It was the movie interpretation and stuff. And yeah, I just liked it. I thought it was one of those movies I just gravitated towards. And I like the anthology thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the fact that they had parts that were done in comic book.
Yeah.
And there were all these stories and this other story. And it was just one of those movies that I just loved watching. And then I tried watching the ones on like Shudder and stuff, and they were all bad.
I didn't think they were all bad. Some of them I enjoyed.
From what I remember, a lot of them were bad. But
I'll be honest, I've never seen any Creep shows.
You never watched the Creep shows on Shudder?
No, I've never watched any of them.
Some of them are good. Some of them I liked.
But yeah, Creep Show, I just liked it. It kind of reminded me of Tales of the Crypt and stuff. You know how that
There was one, actually, that was on season 2 that had like a Bob Ross guy. and I loved that one.
Wait,
I need to watch it again because I don't remember that.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, it was like he was like a Bob Ross knockoff essentially, but he was like he was a painter and he was like always happy and like he was on like a public access show.
Oh yeah.
And
I love Bob Ross.
And then like so they were gonna give his time slot to this bitch because she was a bitch and she was bitching and the loud people usually get their way, right? And so he was like, okay,
fucking
that's
Karens.
fine, whatever.
All them Karens out there. Not you. I wasn't saying. I said all them Karens.
Yeah.
Chill out, Karen.
God. You defend me and then you start running my name into the ground. Anyway, so like this, she's like this bitch and she starts bitching. So she's gonna get his time slot, and then because she was like reading books. So she was like, like reading books to kids. And so she was all nice on the camera, but she was a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, so she has Sam Raimi's brother on her show. And he brings a book on her show.
Ted Raimi.
And he brings, can anyone guess?
The Necronomicon?
The Necronomicon.
Really?
Oh, I think I remember a little bit of that episode.
She reads
some
of
funny.
the Necronomicon, or somebody
That's
reads it, and the Deadites show up, and the paint guy saves the day.
No shit.
It's great. It's a great episode.
I need to watch them again because I don't remember.
It's so funny because that actually brings me into my number 2.
Okay.
But
well, you just gave it away.
Yeah, but
can I guess? What do I win?
Which one though?
Oh.
But yeah, Creep Show. That's a
good one. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say probably Army of the Dead.
No, actually, that's funny because I'm wearing the shirt.
That's why I went with Army of Darkness. But okay, yeah, Milo.
Did it do this?
You're Joseph. You're not Milo.
No, I'm not Milo. No. Pretty sure Milo doesn't have 3 kids and a wife.
Okay.
Lucky bastard.
Okay,
I'm just fucking with you.
Well, no, because if you remember, not too long ago, he shattered his wrist. So,
What?
Ouch.
like
Why?
he shattered his wrist. He fell off a ladder at work.
Oh, yeah, you told us that. Yeah.
That sucks.
All right, my number 2 is Evil Dead 2.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love... well, for one, I love Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
I watch anything with... I've seen all of Bruce Campbell's stuff. Even fucking Bubba Hotep.
That's what Gary asked.
Yeah,
How do you feel about Bubba Hotep?
I loved it. Just because I got to see him dressed up as Elvis the whole movie.
I've seen that movie once and I barely remember it, so I have no room to judge.
Bubba Hotep. Even even the Evil Dead series, I watched that. I've watched all of the movies. I even watched the remake, which was fucking awesome. I don't care what.
Oh yeah, I like the remake.
I will defend that movie.
I like
to
the
day
remake a lot.
Horrible.
I loved it. But Bruce Campbell, dude, he just brings like this sort of comedy that I don't know, man. Like you have to only assume that certain other people have mimicked or looked up to this comedy, like Ryan Reynolds. Look at him with Deadpool, dude. He acts just like Bruce Campbell.
And the bad thing is, I've heard
kind of
Bruce
goofy
Campbell the thing I've heard is Bruce Campbell isn't acting.
Oh, he's an asshole. Yeah, he's an asshole for sure. But he's like an asshole, like that. His friends will straight say, "Yeah, Bruce is an asshole, but he's our asshole." Like I think that's the kind of asshole that he is. Yeah, I guess.
Well, not anymore. You used to be though.
Fuck you, Matt.
Okay, so are you mad at? Are you saying
I'm just
F me because you used to be, and you're mad that I'm not?
Mouth hugs?
No, I don't want no mouth hugs.
Mouth hugs?
Not right now. Sorry.
Not right now.
This is the bonus episode. We got to give him something bonus.
So see, he's open to it now.
He's open to the idea.
He wasn't open before.
Yeah, he's open to the idea. This is the bonus episode,
you're wearing
man.
him down.
We got to give him some bonus content.
Okay, Joseph. Yeah.
Keyword bone.
Now you're overstepping.
Now we're overstepping.
You were trying for mouth hugs. Now you're trying for bone. Just go with the mouth hugs.
I want to bone the mouth hugs. Mouth hugs. All right. So, Evil Dead 2 was made in 1987, directed by Sam Raimi, and stars obviously Bruce Campbell and Sarah Berry.
I think the thing I like about that is it's just supposed to be a remake of 1.
Essentially, yeah, it really is.
Well, the way I understand it is that they realized how they were legit trying to make a scary movie.
Yeah.
And they realized that how
campy
campy and funny it turned out to be.
So
So
they
they
decided to make a
just
funnier-
made it again and went full bore.
Yeah, see, Sam Raimi isn't just a horror movie fanatic either. He loves comedy.
Yeah.
His favorite comedy is The Three Stooges. He
yeah.
loves The Three
Oh,
Stooges.
fuck yeah.
And you can see that in his movies. Like, remember the scene in Army of Darkness where he falls on the ground after getting that? And that's The Three Stooges, man. He draws a lot from that. So, I don't know, like the scene.
I'm good at. You're bad at.
Yeah.
I'm bad at.
Good,
You're
bad.
Good at.
I'm the guy with the gun. But the part in 2 where he's in, the reason why I love 2 more than I love Army of Darkness is because 2, they were trying to have fun with it. By Army of Darkness, they were like, okay, we've obviously, this is what they want, so let's
Army
do
of
this
Darkness was kind of cheating.
Kind of, yeah.
They had a budget by then. They had a following by then. They
Yeah,
had,
exactly.
You know, like 2 was them having fun, having no money, having like just having fun.
Yeah, it was a blast, and I loved like the scene where he's pretty much losing his mind in the cabin.
Yeah,
and he's like, and all the fucking stuffed they're all laughing at him.
Yeah,
and
the fucking moose up there.
Yeah, and so it's a fun fucking movie. It's bonkers and off the wall. And
In Army of Darkness, isn't there a Deadite that goes, "Run away"?
yeah,
no, he doesn't say run away. He's running across the screen. He goes, "Let's get the hell out of here."
Yeah, it's got a lot of. Army of Darkness is really good too.
Great.
But,
Don't get me wrong, but I
just
get
as
what
good,
you're saying.
But 2 is like it's so
I bought
confined
a box set of 1 and 2, and then I couldn't find Army of Darkness because I didn't want to buy it on the internet. And then I went to FYE when they were closing and found it was like a pop art version. Like the movie is the movie, but the box is like this pop art.
I love, but you'll never ever convince me that that's a terrible movie or a bad movie or Bruce Campbell isn't the shit. Like I've loved Bruce Campbell since like the first time I've seen him. You know what I mean? Like I've always loved him.
The same attitude.
Kinda like it's a no bullshit but fun, snarky attitude. You know, I love that about him. Like he made Quippy fun before Quippy was fun and everywhere.
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
He was.
You didn't see that kind of
you didn't see that humor a lot especially in horror movies.
Correct.
So I mean, and Bruce Campbell, he's the shit, dude, and he's still an icon to this day.
True.
So
true. You're right. He did bring that into everybody's home. Wasn't there before.
Yeah. But that's my number 2. Karen, what's your number 2?
I have a tie for number 2.
That's not fair. You can't do that.
I told you I had one. So number 2 for me is Poltergeist, 1982.
Good choice.
Well, I have a thing for haunted house. I that's my favorite genre, and to me, it's very hard to pull off. A lot of haunted house movies don't do a very good job. They're not scary. They come off campy. They come off. They're just not good.
Kind of like House on Haunted Hill.
Fuck off. Well, that one's not a good one, but I mean, I like it, right? I like haunted house movies, but like this one is legit terrifying. It's legit good. It's just legit,
Also,
and it's one of the best.
What'd you think of the remake of that
ever
one?
Made. It was not good.
I want to see the remake just because I want to see the remake.
Don't waste
the
your time.
acting was good.
Yeah,
but
the acting was great.
But I mean, you could argue that about any remake nowadays because they're gonna put the biggest names.
Yeah, the acting was great. That was it.
Yeah. So.
But like, I remember watching that movie when I was a kid and just being kind of blown away. And still, even to this day, the special effects in that movie for the time that was made, like when the ghosts are walking down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then there's always going to be the girl looking at the screen. They're coming.
Or they're here.
Oh, is
yeah.
here?
And I remember the one scene where the steak, when you got the steak out, and it starts to like rot and have maggots and stuff, and then like he goes into the bathroom and he starts pulling his own face off.
See, I haven't seen it.
Like that stuff is just terrifying. So, yeah. So I love haunted house movies. That's my number 2. And then second for number 2 is 8mm.
Ooh.
I've talked to you guys about how I love that movie.
Yeah, 8mm is a great movie.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit the other day because I watched it. And I don't think I have to go into too much detail because I talked about why I loved it then.
Yeah, it's a very fucked up movie.
It's a very fucked up movie, but I love it because of so many reasons. Not the least of which, but it reminds you sometimes how a stranger could be your best friend, I guess.
Yeah. I think one of the worst parts of that movie, and it almost breaks your heart a little bit, because he was becoming friends with that guy who was...
Oh, yeah, when Max California dies?
Yeah, and then which was played by Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
And then he dies, and you're like, fuck, dude, I was starting to like that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those... And it kind of punches you right in the gut, too.
I'll tell you, the two parts that rip my heart out every time I watch the movie is when he's got fucking Tony Soprano in that house.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't know what to do. Like, he's just...
and he's conflicted.
Yeah,
it's like he's battling his own...
Yeah,
like,
he's not sure. Do I do something about this?
What should I do? Like,
do I just beat the shit out of this guy and let him go? Or
do I fucking end him?
What do I do then?
Yeah.
And he goes and he calls her mom. And he says, I can do something about
that.
This.
Was one of the best. That was probably the best scene in that whole movie.
he says, what did she mean to you? You know, and she breaks down. And
he knows right there.
And
he's
he
like,
just
okay.
goes in and he just...
It just fucking pistol whips him to death.
I mean, he comes out and he's
like shaking and shit. Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's prime acting from Nicolas Cage right there.
That part always tears me up a little bit. And then at the end, when she writes that letter to him, and she says, I guess you and I are the only ones that ever really cared about Marianne.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was a stranger.
Yeah.
He had no reason to care about her daughter, but he did.
But that's where you draw the line of where does your morality end? Mm-hmm. And he obviously had a lot of morals about himself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He saw darkness. He's like, fuck it, I guess I'm here to slay that shit.
The thing that always pisses me off when I'm watching movies like that is, like, you're watching movies like that and you kind of put yourself into those situations, right? Like, you think about what would you do or whatever. And I always get so angry at the either A, the way women react in those movies, or B, the way women are portrayed.
Right.
Because the wife in that movie pisses me the fuck off. He's doing this, right? And I understand that she's mad because, her baby and her are in peril, and so she has to run away and hide, and she tells him, like, well, we might not be there when you come back. Well, first of all, I don't like the fact that he can't tell her everything.
Right.
I feel like that's not a good marriage already. I understand that he's a private eye.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like if you have a good...
He hides smoking even.
Right. If you have a good relationship, if you have a solid relationship, he shouldn't have to hide that he smokes, or wants to smoke for that matter.
Right.
He shouldn't have to lie about his private investigations. It
does show a lot about their relationship.
Yeah, if my child and I are in peril, then my husband should be able to tell me why. And I should be able to be in fully on what is going on. And if I look at him and have that reaction, I'm a fucking bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I always hate that trope, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. But it also shows, for that movie especially, it shows the groundedness of the situation, like how makes it more realistic, I suppose.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It makes you kind of...
It throws a realness in there that
and
would have missed otherwise.
And it helps you kind of, I would say, understand his character more.
Sure,
you know
absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah, so, I know. I understand why
it makes him feel like an everyman. You know what I mean?
I understand why it's there. It just it drives me a little batty because I'm not like that. And I'd really like to see a woman portrayed like me in a movie. Once.
That's the whole point. Like, it even starts out with him, like, outside raking his grass. Or raking his leaves. And it just shows that he's that guy that you can relate to and go through this fucking horrific journey with.
And then he's raking his fucking leaves at the end of the movie.
Exactly.
Like,
and then he's back to...
just go through this.
And at the end of the movie, what's he doing? He's raking his leaves again. He's back to his home life. But you can tell with that last scene that, like... you can tell
changed.
something's changed with him.
Yeah.
Where it's different now because he's had to experience that.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, I love that one. So I had to put that in as sort of a, because Poltergeist, I had to put in a haunted house movie.
I'll be honest with you, I like 8mm more than
you
Poltergeist.
I had to put in a haunted house movie because it's my favorite genre.
Well,
that's my favorite haunted house
during
movie.
our first pod, the first time we did this, that you like the movies with ghosts that involve the paranormal.
Mm-hmm. So that's my favorite genre. So that's why that's number 2. And 8mm is literally one of my favorite movies. So it had to be on there somewhere.
It's a good fucking movie. I agree.
Okay, number 1.
Oh, we're on to number one.
My number 1 is Jaws.
Jaws, going with the classic. Okay.
So strange that I picked that book to be like the...
Oh, and then now you choose it for his number 1. Like, oops.
Sorry.
Foreshadowing.
Seriously, I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Like, it's just one of those movies that...
It's all the babes on the beach.
Every time it's on, I'll stop and I watch it and I get into it. And, like, one of the last times, like, I wasn't even into it really that, like, way back. Like, what happened is I remember being at the old house I lived in and my dad being there. And I was watching it, I swear it was, like, during Christmas. And Jaws came on and I was just like, let's stop and watch this. And I just watched Jaws. My dad and my mom sat there and... That's like the last thing. And then for some odd reason that day, it was like Jaws this, Jaws that. I got a pair of socks that have sharks on them. And my mom bought me a Jaws shirt that I still love to this day. And I don't know what happened. It was just something flicked in my head. Jaws. And yeah, it's just, I've watched all of them. Number 1's always going to be the best. The only thing,
you know what I could say about Jaws though? What? Mouth hugs.
You knew it was coming. The
only thing I really don't understand is like Jaws is the number 1, but with the other movies, you think at a certain point they would just realize stop going in the water.
There's obviously a lot of sharks in this area.
Well, no, it's not even like in the 4th one. The woman comes up with the thing. Oh, I'm just getting chased by this shark. And that's not even the same shark.
Dude,
like, how bad does it have to be?
I only think that, like, in my eyes, in my brain, the only Jaws is the first Jaws. There is no other Jaws after that. Yeah. Because the other ones suck complete ass. They're not good.
I've only ever seen the first one.
I've seen the first one, I've seen the second one, and I've seen 3, which I believe the cop isn't even in 3.
No, he's not.
And then, like...
It's his family.
And then it goes on to, like, his sons and blah, blah, blah. Fuck all that, dude.
The first one is the cop on the beach.
Yeah.
The second one is the Jaws is still alive, like they didn't kill him. He's got a burn on his mouth and stuff on him. The third one, the oldest brother works at a place in Florida that's like a Sea World. I think it's actually Sea World. And then the brother comes and visits him.
Isn't it like Jaws: The Revenge or something? Or is that the 4th one?
I don't remember exactly.
Because 3 is 3D.
No, yeah, 3 is 3D, and then 4 is Revenge. But then
Jaws: The Revenge. It's so
yeah. So in Jaws 3, they work at like a SeaWorld, and a shark gets in somehow. And then in the 4th one, the brother is a cop. The youngest brother is a cop at Amity. And he gets attacked by a shark and killed by a shark. And then the mom goes with, like, to the oldest brother and his wife to, like, kind of just, like, what is it? Just kind of, like, desensitize. She's just real crazy about her son died and her husband died. And so she goes there and then starts having, like, these nightmares about, and basically a shark killing her other husband. I mean, her oldest son. So it's all about this whole family this whole time. It's like, just stay out of the water.
Just move away from the beach.
Move inland.
Yeah, live by a lake if you need to. Jesus.
Get away from the water.
Yeah, but and like the first one, like you said, the first one is the best one. And it's the one that really only matters. And like I said, I don't know if it's nostalgia or it's just the fact that there's something in the movie that just makes me stop and watch it every time I see it.
I gotcha. Certain movies have certain effects, whether it be the score, or maybe the overlying whole story to it, or even just the setting and the cinematography sometimes has effect on you. Just depends, and sometimes all those things come together and make a great feeling movie for you.
I think what really also helps is it's something that could actually happen.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Now, maybe not Jaws the Revenge or anything crazy like that, but...
Yeah, but like Jaws, just Jaws 1 is something that could happen.
Yeah.
Did you know that the reason that you barely ever see the shark and it's always from the shark's perspective is because the shark was always fucking up?
No, I didn't know that. I know that it was... I remember seeing, and you could clearly tell it was fake, but I didn't know it was always messing up.
Yeah, the mechanical shark almost never worked, so they had to figure out how they were going to shoot the movie, and they decided that instead of shooting the shark, they would shoot from the shark's perspective.
Which is honestly, I thought, made it better.
Yeah, it did, and they ended up realizing that it made it better, but initially they were supposed to shoot the shark, like it was going to be the shark, you know.
But I think that made it better, it made it more tense.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
oh my God, it's going to get you.
It absolutely did, and
if you think about it, you see it a lot more after that in movies like that.
For sure,
you know what I mean?
It's one of those scenarios where because of essentially a mechanical issue, we got a trope that was born
that was created, born and used a lot.
Yeah, it's used a lot, and it for a reason.
Yeah,
most
creates suspension.
In
and
most horror movies, there's always at least one series where you're behind the eyes.
It creates that tension. It creates that sense of what the hell is coming.
Well, I mean, think about it. Look at, like I said, Evil Dead 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Whenever the evil comes out, it's just chasing. You don't even know what the fuck it looks. Doesn't look like anything. Mm-hmm. So. Mm-hmm. All right. So my number one? My number one is The Thing from 1982.
Good one.
That's a good movie.
I fucking love The Thing, man.
Have you ever played... Oh, well, you probably haven't.
What?
There's a game.
I know, I played it.
Not the video game, the board game.
Oh, no.
It's not called The Thing. It's called... I have to get it. Milo has it. I'll have to try to get it and get a copy of it. It's a fun game. You have to play with 4 or more players. But you basically get a card, and it either says imitation, and you go through all these different places.
It's kind of like Clue.
And you have to try to get to be the imitation and leave.
Okay.
It's a fun game.
So,
that's neat.
Yeah.
I love this movie for so many fucking reasons. For one, Kurt Russell.
Of course.
And
that
Keith
goes
David.
without saying.
Yeah, and it was directed by John Carpenter. John Carpenter, everybody knows John Carpenter because he did the first Halloween and blah, blah, blah. He's also talking about he's been saying here recently that he wants to make a Dead Space movie, which is a video game.
Yeah.
And I think that honestly he'd be well suited.
But
for
they
that.
already made that movie.
Which one, Pandorum or not?
Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, yeah, kind of. No, because Dead Space is definitely.
I make jokes.
I was gonna say it's a fucking.
Dead Space is creatures.
It's got monsters in it.
I know, it make jokes.
Okay,
God,
chill. All right, so I love like I said, I'm a practical effects guy, so I love the practical effects in this fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
the dog, the part where that dude gets his hands bit off by that dude's tummy.
Dude's tummy.
The walking head.
Yeah, walking head. I love the pure. It's gritty. I love the sheer dread of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. That tone, the whole
tone of that movie is just dread
from the very beginning, just because of the place you're in.
Yeah, you're in nothing. You're definitely nowhere. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
and then
you have
a
this very
that can be anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
the tone of that movie from the very beginning is.
And I love the fact that it's still open ended. Like at the end of the movie, you still don't know if
either one of them,
or well, we know that Kurt Russell's character wasn't the thing, but Keith David's character, you're looking at it like he could be. And there's a lot of theories online as to why he could have been.
My friends have a theory of who's, and they actually have because he's wearing something different in it. And
well, the theory is that the reason why they think that he could be the thing is because at the end, whenever they're outside, you could see breath coming out of Kurt Russell's mouth. Whenever it comes to Keith David's mouth, that you can't see any breath. He's not breathing out any steam. So they believe that. Yeah, they believe that that's one of the theories, and I don't know if John Carpenter's ever come out and directly said that is what it is or anything like that. But I don't know. I thought that the prequel that came out, I don't know, back in 2008 or something.
That was the one where it was the team before.
Yeah, and that one
I
was...
didn't know there was what?
It was a prequel, yeah.
This is news to me.
It had...
was it good?
I've never watched it.
It was kind of the same, but it was all... But it wasn't rehashing. A lot of it wasn't practical, and that's what irritated me. Some of it was like very CG.
It's just a story about the first team that ran through like the Norwegian.
But you didn't know that though until later on. Like at first, you think it's a remake. So you go into the movie thinking it's a remake.
Oh.
Well, you get into it and you're like, holy fuck, this isn't a remake. This is a prequel.
Oh.
That's why they just called it The Thing.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool. That was the coolest part of the movie. Was like you go into it thinking this is a remake. But then you get a prequel.
The coolest part was that they fucked with your head.
Yeah, but then you walk into it and you're like, oh, this is a fucking prequel. Okay.
I really like those movies that make me...
Hey!
What was that? Uh-oh.
Hey, you assholes.
That's what you make when you think.
Yeah, that's the face you make when you think.
Don't you? That isn't what you do when you think?
No.
I'll be sitting at home and I'm like, found something.
I'm just going to put this out there. That's more of my orgasm face.
Here we go again.
There we go. All right, let's not get too much into that.
Oh, no.
Laugh at my pain.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that's my number one, baby. Let's move on. Karen, what's your number one? Hit it.
The New Nightmare.
Oh, fuck. I knew it. I didn't know it was your number one.
It's my number one.
Jesus Christ.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because I think that's what, if he had his way, that's exactly what Nightmare on Elm Street would have been.
A parody? Well, I wouldn't say a parody.
It's not a parody. He was a demon. That's exactly what Freddy was supposed to be.
Yeah, because he got... because he
Freddy was supposed to be...
You believe that New Nightmare was what Wes Craven originally wanted
Wes Craven
Freddy to be.
originally, and he even said it, my terms.
Yeah.
He said, Freddy was my creation.
Well, they call him a dream demon to begin with.
Mm-hmm. And they've said it in several of the movies.
Yeah. And
that his original script calls him a demon. And so when when they killed him in Freddy's Dead and, essentially made him a cartoon for the last couple movies or whatever, he was like, no.
Well,
my boy's
I think
not
he
going
was
out
the
like
most
that.
cartoonish in Freddy's Dead.
Oh, absolutely.
Freddy's Dead
for
was...
sure.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and defend it too much, but I'm not going to say I hated it. I did like Freddy's Dead.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But not because it was a great Freddy movie.
No, all of the
because
Freddy
it was a fun movie to begin with.
All of the Freddy movies, with the exception of number 2, have a place.
It will always be
have a place in the franchise. Have a place, and they're all canon. I'm not gonna sit there and say that I hate the franchise. I love the franchise. I love the franchise.
And the way that Wes Craven did it with New Nightmare is understandable because he's like, I'm not going to fuck with the franchise.
Exactly.
But I'm going to do my thing.
He took it into the real world, and he said, okay, here's the fans. I love the fans. We love the fans, right? But he took, and that's why he picked Heather Langenkamp and Robert, right?
Yeah.
And he picked Nancy to defeat Freddy. He picked the original cast and said, we're doing this because this is what it should have been. And had he had his way the first time, that's how it would have been.
Yeah.
I also I like it too because I like the story behind it. It's basically so many, they basically brought Freddy to life.
Yeah, and so
hold on, I want to stop you right. I'm going to give you a little bit of trivia.
Sure.
So I listened to the Dead Meat podcast, and their most recent podcast had Heather Langenkamp and her husband, who is actually a special effects guy. He's got they own this. Is it? God damn
it's the name of the special effects studio.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the special effects studio, but anyway, so they actually met. They were introduced by a friend of Wes Craven, and then so he did the special effects on Back to Pet Cemetery. So we're gonna go full circle now. So he did the special effects.
We are. I have a few other things that I would like to add
before I get to this. Or?
No.
Okay.
Go
so
forward.
they met, and then he actually proposed to her in Maine while he was doing. Because they had a long weekend, I guess, or something, and she flew over to Maine to see him because they were just dating, and he proposed to her in Maine while he was doing Pet Cemetery, and then so that's how they had met and got married. And then because I don't think that, or because he was also the special effects guy on the Freddy Krueger movie.
Really?
Yeah. And then.
Well, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know the Pet Cemetery thing.
So the funny part about this is she's actually ordained. She can marry people, and the people on Dead Meat that do the podcast, she married them.
Oh,
so I thought that was pretty
I did know she was ordained, and I did know.
But yeah, I just thought that was a cool little thing that like they actually met, and then during Pet Cemetery he proposed to her.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's neat.
He said that he actually took her up on. So apparently in Maine, the first bit of sunlight that hits America is in Maine.
Yes,
and it's some kind of peak or mountain or something, and it's the only place. Like, you get the first bit of sunset there first before anywhere. And he said he wanted to take her there and propose to her. He goes, but we woke up a little too late.
I mean, it was a good thought, right?
It was a good thought. So anyway, I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, so the other reason is, like, this movie came out when I was, in, like, 4th grade. So it was
sorry. I'm going to interrupt you again. And the reason why I brought that up was because the kid who played Gage was also a New Nightmare.
Yeah.
As their son.
That's where we're going to go full circle
in the part,
if you let me fucking... No,
in the part where he had to bite Herman Munster, he apparently wasn't on set for that scene because he didn't want to see it, because he didn't want to see the child get upset. Because like I guess he's like a super soft-hearted guy.
Sure.
Heather Langenkamp's husband.
Which he picked the wrong.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're like in horror movies. Yeah. So I guess he just didn't want to. He didn't want to be on set for that scene.
Sure.
So anyway, back to you.
Well, it came out when I was in like 4th grade, so it was like the first Freddy movie I was going to get to go and see in theaters. So I was excited about that. But and I wasn't disappointed with it. I thought it was well done. I thought he didn't hurt the fans, he didn't hurt the franchise, and he ended it the way he wanted to on his
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that full-heartedly. And I think that's why he stuck so close to the Scream franchise.
And the way that he ended it was so final.
Yeah.
He ended it in a way that New Line couldn't fuck with it.
No.
He bought the rights back with the profits from this movie. So that they couldn't fuck with it anymore.
Which is why I didn't understand why he let it get remade. You know what I mean?
He didn't. His family did.
Well, he
signed it out. He was alive.
Yeah, he was alive.
He had signed it over to his family.
At that point. So his family screwed it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. He had signed it over to his family.
And that's the same as the Scream franchises. After he passed away, it fell back into they didn't know what the family didn't know what they were going to do with it,
right? Because
they wanted to respect his wishes. Which, don't get me wrong, I think that the people that did the new Scream movie did a decent job.
Sure.
Was it the whole letting it fall is kind of like what Sam Walton did with Walmart? It used to sell just American-made stuff, and then it went to his family, and then they're grubby.
Well, here's where I'm going to go full circle with this. So, Gage, Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Miko Hughes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So, when I was a kid, I read the book, and I saw the movie.
I know you used to be obsessed. You used to be obsessed with Gage.
I was gonna name my first son Gage. 100%. There was never.
And then you ended up with a son named Gage.
There was never another name.
Yeah. I remember you used to be like, my first son will be named Gage.
I remember watching Pet
100%.
Cemetery with Karen and her telling me that her son was going to be named Gage. Yep. And then when she got with Jeremiah, she goes, and he's got a son named Gage.
I don't even have to do it.
I didn't even have to. I mean, right there. And then, and I never even put this together until I was putting this list together. So just tells
so this is a new thing.
Just listen to that. This was totally new for me. And then I picked Jack's middle name, Dylan, because of New Nightmare. We picked the name Jack because of, like Jack Torrance and Jack. There's so many great Jacks in cinema.
Yeah.
Right? And Jack is sort of like that very manly.
Jack is a very manly
name.
Yeah. It's a very manly name.
Yeah, so we thought Jack is just a great, manly, every name.
That's how I feel about Bruce.
And it's great in cinema. There's always a Jack, right?
There's always a Jack or a John.
So we picked Jack, and then I said, okay, well, I want his middle name to be Dylan for the boy in New Nightmare. So we have Gage from Pet Sematary, played by Miko Hughes. And we have Dylan from New Nightmare, played by Miko Hughes.
Yeah.
Both of my sons were named after characters played by Miko Hughes.
I think he's just your like son, even though he's probably our age.
Yeah, like I think maybe he was like
he might even be a little bit older than us.
He maybe or our same age. Like I don't know.
I don't know how old he would be.
It's
now,
just
but...
I didn't even put that together. Like I even wrote it down. I'm like, wait, oh my.
I wonder how old he is. I'm gonna look that up real fast.
But that's my number one, and that's why it's my number one. And I told you 5 and 1 will always be static. I'm not sure about the middle stuff.
I think it was a good number one. That was a good number one.
Thanks.
Good number one.
It fits me, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah. See here, Nico. How do you spell his name? Nico.
Miko.
Oh, it's Miko.
Yeah.
Miko. Miko Hughes. He was born 1980s. He is my age. He is 36 years old. February 22nd, 1986. He has not done a movie.
No, he doesn't do much acting anymore.
I don't think he does. Something called Floaty in 2021.
Some of those kid actors will do that. Like they did a couple movies when they're kids, and then they'll do like a movie or two when they're adult, but they're not really into acting.
I don't think that what I believe it is these kids get into acting at a young age because their parents put them in it, and they're like, all right, they do it, and you know. But I think they find a new kind of
I think he's one of the lucky ones that didn't have anything bad happen to him. He just doesn't want to do it anymore.
He just didn't want to do it. And that's the same story with the kid who played in The Neverending Story. Same situation.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
And he went on to become, you wouldn't even recognize him.
Yeah, oh no, I've seen him.
He's got like long hair, dreads, and beard. And
yeah, isn't he like a tattoo artist and stuff?
No,
now,
he's hardcore into vintage cameras.
Oh, that's right.
He does vintage camera work and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I've seen pictures of him. He doesn't. You're right. He doesn't look anything like he did.
You wouldn't even know it was him. But anyway, Matt, you gonna sign us out here?
Oh yeah, I am the host.
You're the host this time,
yeah,
buddy.
I am the host.
Well, that's our show. I don't know really how to do that.
What the fuck was that? It was like very Jim Carrey.
What is it? That's our show. Like, what was that? I can't think of it.
Well, either way, that's it. We're done. I don't really know how to do the outro, but I guess. Oh wait, what's our movie?
Well, we're still gonna do Barbarian.
Oh,
We're still got Barbarian.
I forgot you already said that.
Yeah,
but okay. Well, we're done, and yeah. So bye.
Enjoy it. Enjoy your bonus episode. You fucking awesome people.
Nice.
I said awesome people.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but I still feel after Joseph's goodbye, I have to say God bless.
God bless us, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Mouth hugs.